My father installed the first platform offshore Morgan City in 1947. He was there with Kerr McGee and Brown and Root, and they had a grand old time going out there in shrimp boats basically and installing the first platform. When I was a young man with Audrey, I was offshore working as a roughneck during the summers. So I'm the youngest cat out there, and they say, Herman, you stay out and spend the night there so that when when this storm comes by, you can tell us how everything is so we can send the crews back out. And that was Audrey. I spent the night offshore when Audrey went by. How ferocious that wind and water was something to see. I was there. I understand, and I know what we have to do. 5 years ago, Harold Shuffler, my partner, came to me and asked if it was feasible to install wind turbines on offshore platforms. There's 6,400 platforms offshore and in good shape, and many of the hurricanes have gone right over the top of them. We've had a lot of drawings, a lot of experience from water depths of 10 feet out to 10,000 feet. So it's not a major jump for people that have been experienced in the offshore waters to install offshore wind power. This would be feasible, and it'd really be needed.
Offshore Louisiana, we have the best wind resource in the nation, as tested by Stanford University's 3-year study from 2000 to 2002, and it categorized the wind from 0 to 7, category 7 being a premier site. Out of the 1,800 test sites, there were 23 category 7 sites. There were 7 of them in coastal Louisiana. So that puts us in a great position for wind power.
So we knew we had a wind asset offshore in the Gulf of Mexico. Mr. Shuffler and I decided that we would look at the various sites along the coastline for our first installation of test turbines. Texas, we found that everything was in place. They had an alternative energy portfolio. Coastal waters of Texas, the only state, has 10.2 miles territorial waters, so that we can reach out and be offshore considerable distance and still be in Texas-controlled waters. You barely can see the wind turbines. You would have to really look to get a view of them. So aesthetics is not really a problem. Also, we found that the water depth all the way out to 10 miles was only 52 feet. And in the oil and gas business and the marine business, 50, 60, 100, 200 feet is basically shallow water. And we have a lot of experience in that particular area. We had to make an assessment of the wind. Just how strong is the wind offshore in terms of meters a second, shear, humidity, wave action, current action, and all. So we installed a recycle platform from Louisiana, brought it to Texas, installed it, and it is now about 9 miles offshore Galveston. We put 5 simple solar panels on our platform, and we did not go out there for 1 year. And in that 1 year, the solar power did all of our lights, all of our horns, all of our transmission without zero cost. We've received minute-to-minute wind data, day and night, for the 14 months, and we find that the winds are economic, using very conservative numbers.
We can tell you 10 years from now what wind energy will cost. Nobody can tell you what coal-derived power or natural gas power or nuclear power will be 10 years from now. But wind is our only free energy, and it has a fixed price tag, which is 0.
Ever so recently, we are marrying the water currents in the ocean with the wind currents. So we'll have wind and water. Wind above all platforms, water below our platforms, so that we can generate power at a more constant rate. One thing that we do have in Louisiana, Texas, is the infrastructure of people, service companies, vessels, know-how to do this. Nowhere else in the world does it exist. Every discipline of engineering is required for offshore wind power. You need civil engineers, mechanical, electrical, environmental, composite engineers, composite carbon fiber engineers. All these people will be needed in this industry. So in the last 50 years, we learned a lot here in Louisiana and Texas, and we can use this throughout the world. The Caribbean, for example, Honduras, the small communities could completely be revitalized by the use of wind energy. And they have a tremendous wind asset, but have no power.
Public demand can make this happen. There's no reason for us to be suffering with horrendous utility bills when we can have easily the cheapest power in the country. And with that cheap power is a better quality of life, many jobs, and economic opportunity. Because the world will beat a path to our door to take advantage of low-cost electricity.
We feel that the best sites throughout the world are offshore. We have the best winds, the best quality of winds. Areas of the world that have wind assets can be developed immediately. Within 2017, the Gulf of Mexico could have 9,000 megawatts operating in our major cities. If we will move forward and stop studying something to a point that you decide not to do it, you do have to have some guts and some courage to go offshore, as we did the pioneers of the oil and gas industry. And we have to have that same attitude to go offshore at this time. We have enough data. We just have to assure ourselves that we can sell the power and also be efficient in our operations. We believe in the wind industry throughout the world. It will improve and will be a household word very shortly.